Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a gun that you can't buy anymore, which is actually really unfortunate. Today we're going to be looking at a CZ527. This particular one is an MTR, so it's a match target rifle, I believe was the go back in the day. This one is in my beloved 6.5 Grendel, which I really love. Now I will show you the action. Is clear. So magazine is empty. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to flame me in the comments or anything along those lines. The guns are safe. Okay. Now this gun, it's a pretty little thing. Well, not so little. It comes with this specific stock, which is the MTR stock. So it's got some nice stippling there, lovely palm swell, nice and thick. I will say the wood on this thing is gorgeous. And as you can see, it is very thick. We have a varmint profile barrel, which is threaded. It is 26 inches, I believe. Now the thing with these is they're actually a micro length action, kind of similar to like a Hauer Mini action. So they're actually a shorter action length. So you have a very short bolt throw. So, and it's very nice bolt throw. What I will say with these ones is this stock is spectacular. I love this stock. It feels amazing. That palm swell, just how good it sits in your shoulder. For sitting at a range and just firing off a bunch of rounds, this thing is great. Please disregard the crappy Nico Sterling scope on this at the moment. I was literally swapping some scopes around and I was desperate to fire a couple of rounds off, so that's what's on here until I can mount Yopter on it. I've shot this with a bunch of different hand loads, with factory ammo. This thing with either, to be quite frank, so I've got 90 grain Nozzle of Armageddons that I shoot out of this, and Spear TNTs that it really likes. I also shoot 123 grain factory ammo that I've got a stockpile of. This thing is just clover leaves. It shoots better than I can. I'm not a great shot by any means. I can definitely shoot one MOA if I really do the work. This thing, easy one hole groups at 50, at 100. If you're not 3/4 of an inch, then you're not really trying. I've had some really, really good shooters use this thing, and they're all super, super happy with how it shoots. Now, I will say when the bolt originally came, so I bought this gun new quite a number of years ago now. When the bolt originally came, it was a little gritty, but with a little bit of oil and working that action back and forth, it broke in beautiful. It's super smooth, feeds fantastic. If we actually have a look at there. Now, the only thing I will say about the bolts on these is if you torque them a bit, they can bind up. So like that, if you're really putting that pressure there and you torque them up, put some torque on that, you can bind them up. If you don't do that though, smooth as butter. Now, these have a great magazine system. So there's a magazine catch just here next to the magazine. Now you have a steel magazine, which, look, I know polymer mags are fine. I don't have a problem with that. I really do like this magazine design though. It's a single stack mag. It's got really positive, like when you push it in and it comes home, it really seats positively. Like, you know that that's in properly, which I think is sort of a detraction from some of the other magazines that I've seen out there. This particular one, like, It takes no force to cock this thing. It is beautiful. The trigger on this is also optimized for, again, that MTR roll, I guess, so that match target roll. It is heavy. I mean, it's the style of the gun. They made these in a bunch of different versions and styles throughout the days. I think they were also made as the Bruno or Bernot Fox was the name they went under for the previous design. I don't know if there was any actual changes between the guns. They look extremely similar. They seem to function exactly the same. I'm not too sure if maybe there's some difference in tolerances or design somewhere. Who knows, right? I'm sure somebody does, and hopefully they put that down in the comments. From what I understand, though, they are probably the same gun, just under a different name, and they've continued production. Maybe it's the action length that's different. So these were made in a bunch of different calibers back in the day. From what I understand, you could have got them in 222, 223. You could get them in 7.62 by 39, 6.5 Grendel. I'm not sure if they came in anything else from memory. 22 Hornet. And I'm sure if it's not factory that they came 17 Hornet, I know I've definitely seen some guns chambered in it. So maybe that was something somebody's gone and done after the fact, but I know I've definitely seen one or two of them floating around. Now, these guns for a farm gun, a field gun, someone that just wants to sit at the range, if you get like the target variant here, I mean, just look at that palm swell. Come on, guys. That's fantastic. That's just so comfortable. You can sit there. Nice flat bottoms for sitting on the bags. The stippling is beautiful. Just the way the stock is shaped. The one thing I really regret is not buying a stock like this or a gun in the 455 or 457. I know they made them. I don't know if they still do. But I regret not getting one of those when I saw them around, because I should have just bought a little brother to this thing. It is so comfortable to shoot. And I think if you had a 22 in this, in maybe, or even a 17 HMR with something like an 18-inch barrel, that would be a killer gun. Especially if you're going out in the field, chasing bunnies, that kind of thing. Like, all day, every day. I would snap one of those things up if I saw it right now. This cost me $995. I think that was probably at the tail end of them being phased out. They now go for considerably more than that if they're in any decent sort of condition. If they're an MTR, they go for even more than that. You just don't see these things anymore. I guess the big detractor for most people is that this is in 6.5 Grendel. For me, that's a bonus. I believe I had a choice between that and 223 when I bought it. I've already got 223s. I just didn't see any point to that. This thing, though, if you settle down in a position, you can shoot this all day long. Recoil is negligible because obviously it's got a bit of weight to it. They did make sort of like a ranch version of these, which I think in 7.62 by 39, especially if you've got a huge stock of old ammo from sort of the SKS days or SKK days. Like, I know my old man had, tons of the stuff left over that's probably, the Chicom Norinco ammo, which is, it's garbage. But, when you think of the cost of a gun these days, the biggest component of that cost is going to be the ammunition if you shoot any sort of decent amount. And, that stuff was a couple of cents a round back in the day. So if you've got a stock of, 1,000 rounds, what can you buy for under $1 a shot now in centerfire? I would totally consider buying one of these in that, or even 223 as a walk around gun, just sort of like throw on the shoulder as you go around a farm or go for a walk in a state forest if you're not expecting to see anything big, or you're only expecting to see, say, pigs or maybe some goats. 223 is a little bit small, and 7.62 by 39 wouldn't be what I'd choose to hunt deer. Can you do it? I'm sure you can if your local laws let you do that. I personally wouldn't. 7.62 by 39 is not terrible for that, but I find that if you're trying to find decent quality ammunition for it, for that purpose, that's where you're going to sort of run into some problems. It's just not as available as it used to be, just because people generally don't have guns chambered in it anymore. Same for 6.5 Grendel. You're not going to find a ton of factory ammo. You're going to find Hornady. If you find something else, maybe some Federal, you're not going to find a ton. You're probably going to hand load, or you're going to have an ammo stock. That it is what it is, right? With the cost of ammo coming up and up and up and up and up, if you're going to be paying $80 for a box of 20, at that point, you're better off hand loading, buying a bunch of spear 90 grain TNTs. The best thing about the 6.5 Grendel, so this little cartridge here, is you have the availability to buy bullets in bulk for cheap. You also have the ability to load this very economically. We're talking, again, this is not reloading advice. Please don't take it as such. You're reloading at your own risk, but you can reload these with charges 25 grains-ish, a couple of grains either side of powder. When you compare that to, most cartridges, you're getting more reloads per kilo of powder. Okay, so, pardon me. So it just makes sense if you're going to look for an easy range gun to make sure that you're getting the most cost efficiencies you can. Is it 223? No, but it has capabilities that 223 don't. Now, what I will say is I'm really sad that CZ doesn't make these anymore. The only gun that CZ really makes is their 600 series, which is, I'm sure, it's a fine gun. I know there was a bit of sort of, controversy in the US because it was meant to be a switch barrel system originally. Look, I wouldn't be buying a stock standard CZ 600. There's just too many other options out there for the same price point that bring the same things to the market. Maybe their newer models of it will be, a more appealing offer to the general public. But I think if you're going to be spending that kind of money, there isn't enough aftermarket for them. And in particular in New South Wales, you can't have the trail version with the collapsible stock. So there really isn't too much of a drive to go get one in my mind for most people. I think the Lux version they have looks nice with the wooden bolt knob and all those kinds of things. I think, look, it's a promising looking gun. Does it do anything that any of the other guns don't do? No. Same price point. At that point, would I be looking at going to a Tikka? Probably. I've handled a couple of the 600s. I've run them home. I will say CZ is the king of rimfires in my mind in Australia. If not, the world, as far as I'm concerned, as a mid-range, you're not going to spend a fortune, but you're getting a super high-quality piece of kit. CZ is where it's at. Now, the days of their centerfires being fantastic, like the 550 series, it's sad, but those are well gone. Look, hopefully they come up with something, they bring those back at some point in the future, because I saw a lot of beautiful big bore CZs back in the day that people built or had purchased, and they were fantastic guns. But it just doesn't seem like there's that much of a market for a lot of that stuff anymore. We're going to very different styles of cartridges than the old big bore stuff. People are now looking for, hyper long range, whether they use it or not. So that's it for this one. So the CZ527, and sorry about that little rant. Again, great gun. If you can find one for cheap, I would definitely recommend it. I would say if you're going to buy one, it probably is better just to buy one in one of the more common calibers. This in a 22 Hornet with a lighter profile stock. Yeah, as a rabbit gun or a fox gun, it would be an absolute dream. And cannot talk highly enough of the old quality of these CZs either. The stocks on pretty much all these MTRs as well was beautiful. Most of the stocks I've seen on the 527s and the Bruno Foxes are also really quite nice quality. But yeah, so rating would be if they sold them today for reasonable money, and reasonable money for this sort of package, I would be saying is about, in this day and age, probably about $1,700. In this sort of target profile, I'd say if you're looking at, you know, one of the the ranch models, probably closer to 1,300, 1,200. I think I would still buy one. I don't think I'd really hesitate about that, especially if it's in a wood stock. Maybe not a synthetic. I know that there are some synthetic stocks out there for them. I've seen a couple. The draw of this kind of gun, though, is a little bit of that classic look. But that's it for the CZ527. Thanks again for joining me, guys. If you've got any recommendations on what you'd like to see next, just pop it down in the comments.